Many thanks for staying. Welcome back to the marketplace. Now to a very fair story. The Ghana Cedi continues to appreciate against the dollar on the interbank market. The local currency closed last Friday at around 4 Ghana Cedis, 18 pesos. There are predictions that the Cedi would remain strong against the dollar until August this year. This is because most enterprises would at the time be demanding more dollars to finance imports for the Christmas festivity. So what strategies should firms adopt in maintaining the Cedi's good run? Charles Mensah is a financial analyst.
Economist Professor Peter Korte, for instance, had argued if the excessive borrowing is not checked, this could result in the country's cost of raising funds hit the roof.
At the moment, we are over 70%. Debt sustainability threshold, about 60, 70, some say 60% of GDP, some say 70% of GDP. We have gone beyond the threshold. So additional borrowing, in my view, is not the best way to go. And I hope this is going to be a temporary measure as a stopgap measure to raise some revenue, of course, to redeem bonds that have matured. But then there will be some left. It's not all that is maturing. There will be about 8 billion or so that will be used as we're told, as reserves. So that is certainly going to add up to our debt stock, and it's not going to augur well for us. Debt servicing is so huge. If you look at our total revenue, when you take out wages and salaries, take out debt servicing, and then the statutory payments, we are left with very little to finance capex, that is capital expenditure. So we have to rely on external sources again to finance our capital expenditures, and that is not helping the economy.
As a result of Ghana getting into that status of a highly indebted country. But government sources say the plan is to quickly stabilize the economy and force laws that will protect the public purse and ensure that governments stick to the expenditure approved by Parliament for this year. The source adds that renegotiating interest being paid on bonds issued and some targeted capital expenditure to specific sectors to expand the economy could bring the debt to appreciable levels, resulting the debt-to-GDP ratio reaching 70% or even below by the end of this year, from the current 73%. Joy Business understand the state is also planning to use proceeds from some cheap bonds to pay down some expensive bonds that are maturing. Government is also fast-tracking implementation of some policy measures which could help sustain the city's appreciation, a development that could help reduce the foreign debt component of the debt stock. Joy Business is even learning the recent $2.2 billion from the historic bond issuance is even having an impact on the debt stock, which stood at 122 billion Ghana cedis as of December 2016. The state is planning to set aside some 13 billion Ghana cedis as interest payments on the debt stock.
So that story was rather government expressing optimism that its new strategy is implementing to control the Cedi rising to appreciable levels will be very, very laudable. And this was expressed by Professor Peter Korte, an economist. Let's now listen to Charles Mensah, a financial analyst, on the value of the Cedi being extending to later part of the year.
I think I had predicted way back that as soon as the budget is read, there will be a stability, and there would be stability, because some of the causes for the depreciation of the currency then was to do with the confidence. And once the confidence is restored, which it's now there, people will not speculate again, because the element is also the speculation angle. So people speculate, and when people don't have confidence, when people don't know what's going to happen next, so all this fuels the depreciation of the currency. And I think the budget was read, a few things had been settled, and then also there has been restructuring of the loan repayment, especially the quantum of forex that would have been required to pay the loan as well before it's been stretched. So the amount or the total requirement for forex had also gone down in terms of the loan repayment. So all these petty things had been put in place, and I think that for now we'll continue to enjoy the cedi appreciation, against the dollar. But be as it may, we just keep an eye on it, because the commodity prices can also affect us. And to the extent that the cocoa price per ton is not too good these days. So to augment that, we have to increase productivity in the sector, the volumes of cocoa beans that we can add on. Once we increase the volume, at least it will close the gap that the prices would have cost. So price drops, volume or quantity goes up, and then you can get the same amount of forex that you expect to meet your total import deal. Another critical point that I think is also helping us, it's the area of some services that previously was not captured. And I'm hoping and pray that we can do it right. I'm talking about the services. Ghanaians are now professional. Some are providing professional service out there, but it has not been captured properly. And I'm hoping that the medical services, the nurses, the nursing services, the financial services, people are traveling, the legal services, the accounting services, the tax services that we are providing for, out there. Because Ghanaians are traveling out there to provide that. If that element, because they are Ghanaians, they live here, except that they go and perform a certain task and they get paid. Now they get paid in foreign currency. So if we can restructure that element to be captured properly and right, then the dollar or the cedi appreciation will continue to show.
Away from that, Russian ambassador to Ghana, Dmitry Suslov, has expressed commitment in promoting mutually beneficial business partnerships, creating an enabling environment for long-term Russian businesses, he said, is part of initiatives to deepen trade ties between the two nations. In an interview at the sidelines of the Russian Automobile Day, the Russian ambassador said the embassy is ready to support long-term businesses.
The Russian Automotive Day is a joint conference organized by some leading Russian automobile manufacturers, UAZ, GAZ, KAMAZ, and Universal Motors Limited. The event is a continuous dialogue between Ghana and Russia on ongoing commercial partnerships between the two nations. The Russian ambassador expressed his country's support for long-term businesses.
My mission is to create the positive environment for the Russian entrepreneurs, those who are really ready to work here, not on the basis of one deal, means investment, profit, and going away. But those who are going to work here on the permanent basis for the perspective, for the development, the relations both in the interest of Russian producers and Ghanaians themselves to produce, to create the jobs, to create the new opportunities for small and medium business.
The companies involved are known to be among the best automobile brands in the world and are seeking to establish their identities in Africa.
Joint venture is definitely a very important aspect in the economy. There is the know-how, there is the need to come into the market, and Ghana is the best place where joint venture can be applied, with the healthy environment, healthy economic, healthy future that we are having, and with the laws that can encourage investment to be in Ghana as well.
In the long-term run, it is our target to assemble here. Actually, the first step is to create a dealer network here, that we have reliable partners who know the mentality and the way how to do business here very well. Public tenders, like you said before, are one of the course we want to set here. And actually assembling depends on the partner we find, but actually, yes, it's a long-term target.
The conference was under the theme, Russia Automotive Day, become a part of the new era.
You're still live on the marketplace right here on Joy News. Moving on, the Ministry of Trade and Industry has begun the process of selecting firms that wish to partner government in delivering the One District, One Factory policy. Now, speaking earlier at an opening of the 3-day International Trade and Finance Conference here in Accra, Director at the Ministry of Trade and Industry, Paddy Ajarako, on behalf of the Sector Minister, invited all private sector businesses to come on board to deliver the project. Now, joining us live from the Alisa Hotel, where the conference is currently taking place, is our correspondent, Ebenezer Sabute, with more updates on that particular conference. Good afternoon, Ebenezer, and welcome to the marketplace.
Good afternoon, Emmanuel.
Now, we heard the AGI has taken its turn to also make some contributions. What has the AGI been saying?
Okay, if you can hear me, the AGI has been telling its members that government has started engaging them on the One District, One Factory policy. So this is the best time for them to speak with the leadership of the association so that they can get in touch with government to partner them in the One District, One Factory policy. Actually, he has also been explaining to them why some of the tax policy measures announced by the government is yet to be implemented. According to him, it is not the government's fault that some of them hasn't been implemented, but it has to do with the ECOWAS region, and they are in constant touch with government. Very soon, they will start implementation. Director at the Ministry of Trade and Industry, Paddy Ajarako, has also indicated that the budgetary allocation of 456 million cedis for the project has been given out. So companies who are interested should come on board. He's inviting all private sector businesses to come engage government so that they can also partner with the project.
Now, Ebenezer, before you go on, what is going to be the criteria for selecting companies to come on board with the partner government?
Okay, the criteria is going to be that, first of all, you apply, you give in your proposal, government will look at it, they will look at the status of the company. First, whether it's an agribusiness company, whether it's a services company, or whatever company it is. And then they'll look at your financial status before they proceed from that.
And are there any priority areas that government is considering? Is it agri first? Is it manufacturing?
No, government have no priority areas when it comes to the One District, One Factory policy. When you listen to the minister speaking, he said it is an industrialization project. So they are looking at all sectors of the economy, from agriculture, services sector, industry, everywhere that they think employment can be created for the people of this country. So they don't have a specific priority area they are looking for. They are looking at all sectors of the economy, even including banking.
Right, and when is the deadline? Do we have any timelines when these projects will commence?
Deadline, he has not announced any deadline, but he said the door has been opened. So any company that is interested should come right from now. I mean, you can begin the process from today. And I understand some companies have even begun. So if you have a company and you want to partner, then this is the time. Let me chip in this, that the ambassador of Mexico to Ghana, Her Excellency Mario de Angelos, she made mention to us that some companies from Mexico have also started engaging the Ghana Export Promotion Council so that they partner government in this process. So if you are a Ghanaian company and up to now you have not engaged government, then I think you are delaying. You have to walk the talk now, from now, yeah.
Right, very, very impressive. Now, do you have any other information that you want to give? Who is speaking now?
Okay, the other information is that the Ghana Revenue Authority has indicated to shippers that it is in engagement with the ECOWAS Commission so that some of the tax cut measures at the port will be implemented. According to the Assistant Commissioner of Import and Export of the GRA Division, Mr. Cedi Yakubu, some of the implementations haven't started because they have begun doing the, HS code, which is harmonized system code for the ECOWAS regions. And because of that, government need to engage the commission before it can begin some of these tax policy cuts. So it is not their making that the tax cuts that businesses are expecting have still not begun, but they should give them some time, and then they will roll it over. They will roll it very soon.
All right. So before you go, finally, who is scheduled to speak next?
Okay. After this, we are having Nana Osei Bonsu of the Private Enterprise Foundation. Okay. He is scheduled to speak first. He's scheduled to speak before any other person comes. But as at now, I can't tell whether he can speak or not. I saw him earlier on, but I haven't seen him when I was getting prepared to come on air.
Thanks,
so as to whether he left a rep, I can tell.
Ebenezer Sabote is our correspondent who is currently taking part in the International Trade Fair at the Alisa Hotel, where government has begun extending its hands to the private sector to come on board to begin implementation of the One District, One Factory policy. Now, away from that, SGSSB has officially launched its refurbished Fanofa Road branch at Kokomlimli here in Accra. This follows the bank's rebranding agenda initiated in 2016. The occasion was also a platform for officials to network with some customers of the bank and get to know their concerns. Among several products outdoored was a mobile banking service, which primarily aims at bringing banking services to the doorsteps of customers. The General Manager, Retail Banking, Kweku Chunibu Akodua, in an interview with Joy Business, explained some of the bank's newly introduced services.
Previously, if you walk into a banking hall, you sometimes get confused as Societe Generale. Now we have a welcome desk that is manned by gentlemen and young ladies and young guys who will direct you, listen to you and direct you to the relevant place. We have a queue monitoring system where you will just go and pick a ticket, and if you're going to see the teller, it will let you know when it is your time. We have a digital corner where we have tablets that can help you access your balance without even going to a teller or going to a salesperson. You can go onto your account directly from the digital corner. We have state-of-the-art ATMs and everything that will help you be able to be served in time so that you don't have to spend too much time at the bank at the expense of your other activity. The mobile bank is something that we have introduced which we take to institutions. For instance, institutions that do not have a branch of Societe Generale close to their office. Sometimes some of these institutions, they have large numbers working on, for instance, a factory or something like that. So we come with the mobile bank, which has an ATM. So the workers, so we agree with the management of that particular institution so that on particular days in a month, we bring the mobile bank and their staff can take monies from the mobile bank and also have other banking transactions like the opening of accounts and other things like that, banking services given to them. So the mobile bank brings banking to your doorstep. We are running a loan campaign promotion for salaried workers in Ghana. If you're an existing account holder of Societe Generale who has their salary coming through, please walk into the nearest Societe Generale branch. But if you are not currently holding an account with us, but you are a salaried worker, just come and open an account, and after 1 month salary comes in, you immediately qualify upon provision of your 6 months past banking statements with your current bank.
Now, to help improve cereal productivity and enhance farming in Botanga, in a suburb of the Kumbungu district of the northern region, a new fertilizer has been introduced by the Agricultural Manufacturing Group, AGM, known as the ammonium sulfur nitrate. The new improved fertilizer will help address some agitations by farmers in the area that previous fertilizers were impacting negatively on their crop yields. Explaining the use of the new fertilizer in an interview, General Manager of AGM, Henry Otumensan, said his outfit will collaborate with the Ministry of Agriculture to start distributing the quality fertilizer throughout the area soon to boost farm yields.
The introduction of this new fertilizer for top dressing. There are other fertilizers for top dressing that cause a lot of acidity to the soil. Farmers will be able to move away from that. Anytime there is high acidity of the soil, the soil particles hold on to the fertilizer. We call it fixation. to the extent that the soil is not able to release enough nutrient to the plant. That is when there is high level of acidity in the soil. This new fertilizer does not lend itself to acidity of the soil. So the fertilizer, the nutrient in it is able to be released, completely to the plant for its use. So it's important that farmers, get this information, that there are fertilizers, a lot of fertilizers on the market that are used for top dressing. Those ones cause acidity in the soil. That is fixation. When this happens, there is less cation exchange capacity between the soil and then the plant. But this new fertilizer, which is known as ammonium sulfate nitrate, does not lend itself to that, phenomenon. We are going to make it accessible, to every farmer everywhere, through the assistance of the Ministry of Food and Agriculture, to our numerous distributors throughout the country.
Still staying within the agric sector, sowing of groundnuts could be an uphill task, particularly for farmers with waste problems. The challenge is set to end soon with the ingenuity of a farmer at Adanse Fomena in the Ashanti region who has designed a planter for the agric business venture. Cedi reports.
The groundnut planter is a jab with two wheels and a spring which controls digging and sowing. It has a hopper for storing seeds and handle with an ejection mechanism. An earth chisel is attached to the planter jabs to create a hole for the seeds. The ejector is pressed to release 2 to 3 seeds from the hopper to go through a pipe into the hole and covered by a metal sheet. It is the brain and handiwork of groundnut farmer at Fomena, King David. He was motivated to come up with the technology as aging makes bending and rising from manual planting strenuous. Mr. David is hopeful the machine would save time and energy during sowing. The problem with groundnut sowing is the bending and rising, which affects the waste. This machine does away with all that. The machine will make our work very easy. Meanwhile, the man behind the cocoa pod cracker, Ofori Chineboa, has fine-tuned his design. After breaking the pod, he has designed a mechanism to pull the beans from the chamber.
Farmers used to face problem during the mode of cracking cocoa pods, and at times they do cut their hand and a lot of risks. So it came to time that we find some means of using manual machine to crack cocoa pods with small pressure without risk. And by so doing, a lot of farmers are happy using the new technology.
Other equipment on display at a sensitization program are cassava uprooter and rice thresher. Kwame Nkrumah University of Science and Technology spearheads capacity building for commercialization workshop for farmers. Donald Amrago is research fellow at the university's Technology Consultancy Center.
We are grateful these communities are responding well to this intervention that the university is putting across. On the other hand, we are also looking at making these farmers creative by providing solutions to challenges that they will meet.
Reporting for Joy News, Cedi.
And on that note, we come to the end of yet another edition of The Marketplace. Many thanks for your company, and do watch again tomorrow afternoon. My name is Manuel Appointing. Good afternoon.